Yeah,
I'm down for some Cena Jet.
Give me Astra Valorante.
What? Well, they're cooking.
Okay, you're right. He wasn't lying. He was lying.
I told you, NK.
I mean, he was hello cooking. We're gonna get 7 KO, which yeah.
So here's the thing. On the side of BBL, no surprises. They keep that double duelist and they play very vanilla, just keeping the Cypher, which I think was of huge value in that Breeze, and probably was the difference. Maybe a couple of rounds. But for Pacific, seeing the KO and the Tejo, I'm not surprised here.
I'm glad I got the Tejo.
Wait, it's Brimstone. This is the second time we've seen it on the biz.
100% pick rate. 100% pick rate.
Yeah.
That's how you define the meta.
What is going on? But what about because VALORANT's a very different player from Vinny though.
Yeah, they are very different, and I really enjoyed his Astra on Breeze right before. But I think he's gonna be able to play a little bit like a sneaky rat. You know, I'm not seeing Cooper taking those lurks that much. I think it will be more of like a support also to CNED, and CNED having both a Tejo and a KO to entry and to retake is something that he really, and I hope to see him capitalize on.
So they're going to go for the double initiator. 7 is pretty flexible, like I was saying about the duelist and whatnot, but he is a flex player. I really want to see the Tejo because I think that it's still very viable, that it is going to work very well. They're going to have a lot of info to play with. But again, yesterday we were speaking about all the solutions that mates were finding to not having a sentinel and playing on this map and how to measure aggression. We were also speaking about those post plants, and obviously with the composition the Pacific are playing, they should have an edge in that part of the map. But they have to get to that part. In Breeze, if they would have had the money to bring in the operators early, maybe we would have seen a different result.
Yeah, and there's no better place to make your Tejo debut, right, than on this stage against BBL. As long as he doesn't governor himself, Mitch and Tom, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about that is he's on an agent that silly Mitch forgot doesn't governor yourself.
There you go.
You get a boost, don't you? You don't even get slowed. One of those things.
They didn't get goved. He did get killed.
No, he did get tripped.
Do you know what I've realized?
What's
this
that?
is actually, so they're asking, oh, the Brimstone, is it meta? It's actually just because Alpha versus Omega, VALORANTE's got to get his kills in. So he's actually just picked the Brimmy just for that reason alone. So there you go. He's all in. He actually doesn't care about this match at all. He's only looking to try and make sure his team gets the skin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's why we've got you, Tom, for the
that's why Mini did it as well.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of kills, so there you go.
Nice.
Really is boosting them now, but
putting in the work.
I like it. The amount of delay we saw yesterday was fantastic. I will say I'm a big fan of the Yoru Melee. I think it's nasty on this map. I think DRX showed exactly how it can be utilized, and I don't blame anybody for yonking that.
No, without a doubt. That double dive was terrifying on the attack side. To start out in the defense, BBL, well, they look just as scary as any comp could. Cupert's left alone, a 1 versus 5. And again, you know, you think back to that last map, it was a very strong start for BBL.
Got you.
Although they slowed down in the end. No, well, I would say more so that Pacific warmed up. They were getting disrespected, they were getting ran down on, and then they started to play the game. Let's hope it doesn't take that same kind of warm-up period here.
He's managed to get one at least, but he's being swarmed the entire time. Solid start for BBL, more importantly, a solid start for Lovers Rock. I think, as I said, like this guy getting the Yoru early is always going to be terrifying, but he is straight in to that Outlaw, just looking to try and farm things up. And if they get off, this thing, if they get off to the same start as they did on the last map, it's probably going to end the same way. Eventually, they'll have something to get them over the line. And I'd be more worried, if anything, because I think that this comp is so good at getting you in on the attack side that I eventually believe they'll win it out in the post plant.
Well, for Pacific, it's down to those classics. You got Ninja coming in, Sheriff in hand, but the rest very much underarmed. Lovers Rock inside a smoke with an Outlaw. The hip fire gets him one, I believe, and then he's straight on out of there. Nicely done. It's a risk, but one that's clearly paid off this time around.
Well, the interesting thing as well, going into the comp on the other side, is we already saw it early. Obviously, it was only Cupid left alive. But the composition that's being run from Pacific is actually a bit worrying for one reason alone. And it is that we saw in the defense how aggressive BBL were willing to be. You no longer have that sort of backline protection. You don't have any utility that's going to be just, oh, this bit is locked off, no one can get past here, we don't have to worry about this. And so they're going to have a lot of global control across the map to consistently keep an eye on everything. They do have the double initiator for that, but that kind of has fallen out of fashion, at least a little bit recently, and we'll see if that bites them. It's always also going to put an awful lot of pressure onto CNED to get them info on the entry. And yes, that was an in-zone flawless. That's why I talked through it, because it was so ridiculously clean.
Yeah, as it should have been, I suppose, from the very get-go. So very nice stuff for BBL. A convincing second round, tagged onto a strong pistol.
Yeah, he's one up ult, by the way.
And Lovers Rock one away indeed. That could make it much easier to get back into a site play in those retakes, if they even need that. Rifles out for Pacific, and this is where I don't want to hear any bark. I just want to see the bite. This squad needs to do damage. But BBL will be off to another flying start.
I feel like I've seen that before. Just he was on the other side. But that's the problem. We're seeing that individual brilliance from LaRock, but this time he actually has something to get him out. The dash nowadays kind of sucks on Jet, but it's very good on the waylay. And they are just getting slammed! It is almost whitewash again. Not quite the flawless this time around, but you might as well think it was. 4 players standing in a bonus round, Mitch. Yeah, this is more dominant than last time, and well, this time Rose hasn't really had to do anything.
Yeah, the usual suspects. 8-0 start from Lovers Rock. Couldn't even believe my eyes looking down at that.
Wait, did he even get the kill in that round? No, he did. He got one.
At the end. Okay.
It was the other 2 that he got everything.
Yeah, at this point, for Pacific, it's a bit of a stinker.
That was a buy round, by the way. Just in case.
Really
I could understand if people went, oh, was that just Classics again?
No.
They do Classics twice in a row.
Now they're on the Classics. Now they're on the Sheriff. And now they should be on a 4-0 deficit. For Pacific, it's all about the next one. We're doing some damage here, but the economy, to be honest, actually at this point, you need that damage. The economy's getting out of control for BBL. The confidence is there in droves. LaRock has taken 4. I mean, it's only the pistols, but my God, I wanted some damage from Pacific, and they get nothing. Everybody's got full shields at the end.
That was an in-zone flawless, by the way. Just in case you were wondering. In-zone flawless.
They didn't take damage.
Another one. Yeah, no,
one bullet.
So in the last one, there was a few players dying here and there in these rounds. So although it was dominant, it wasn't quite like this. Yeah, LaRock, just in case you were also wondering, Lovers Rock and LaRock both have their ultimates for this round.
Up.
They have 2 deaths on the entire team, and if everyone went into that round on 1 HP, they still would have won.
They're both
flawlessly.
They're both LaRock.
Well,
they got their own.
Pacific's map pick, guys. It's going to bounce back, don't you worry. It is early days. It's just the context of the previous map, and then thinking if BBL keep their foot on the gas, if Pacific don't find their magic formula, and right now, we need a miracle formula. The 5th round being sought after by BBL, and up in the hands of Lovers Rock. And look, here's my other issue. They're playing so passive here. This is where BBL in the previous map were like, all right, let's start just swinging, let's get aggressive, let's take fights. But now, Lovers Rock has the opportunity with the op, and everyone else is sitting back, letting Pacific make mistakes. Letting them run that clock down.
Where the cam is. There you go. You found it. It's deep within B main. So you can see Krevin is currently not even on the site. A lot of that is also because he doesn't want to get hit by the 9. It doesn't want to give anything over, but it might start getting into his head that, okay, he hasn't had anything to do just yet. Already early rotation, but maybe a little bit of a mystery. But a lot of that is because of the deep control that LaRock has already taken. Maybe a little bit wary of middle. And he has himself that convergence path available to just basically stop their whole push in its tracks.
Loida down to start with, making some headway here for Pacific is 7. Definitely the standout on their squad
here,
in the previous, but that rotation, that over-rotation you said it could have been. Well, it's been dealt with. Every single player dropped by 7. He's got 4 under his belt as LaRock moves to the smoke. Cupid, it's a big risk to walk through here. 3v1. You should win the round off time alone, running that clock down, but everyone's taking their individual fights. If you're looking to give LaRock an opportunity, this is it. Luckily, he won't be punishing to start with. The stun doesn't land on the players in the corner. The shot to start is straight on 7's head. Ace denied, but the round won't be. Pacific finally on the board.
Yeah, he was great in the last map as well, but you can definitely see some of the individual brilliance he's bringing from this squad. Crispy aim to get them their first round. Basically just trading off of everybody else, making sure that he swings in time. That will be their first round onto the board, but we have to see whether or not that's the start of something or just a blip, because more important, VALORANT had a great first map, quiet right now, and CNED 0-5 on the board. As I said, it's going to be tough for him. Like, he's the solo duelist. It's not a 1-2 punch. He basically has to dive in and, well, try not to die, but ultimately, if it comes to it, die to get the information to the team.
Well, they're moving straight into that angle. It was being jump spotted with the TP. Loida sees nothing. Now LaRock goes walkabouts. Refract online. He can get out, but his teammate can't. Loida caught in the open is punished. A nice start for Pacific. Again, it's 7 on those entries. A few good rounds from him, and it's giving hope to Pacific. Rose desperately trying to steal that hope away. 7 not out of the round yet. He's on his knees, but he's right back into the fight. Pacific will find themselves a post plant. 5v4, hold on. BBL are getting ahead of it. Ult's already sent through. In comes Convergence Path. Rose good for one, Kreven on another. It's chaos! And BBL thriving inside it. Ninja started without a weapon, but recovers one and puts the numbers back even.
And the operator still just holding the angle, but a nice double from VALORANT. His third of the round, and as said, he was yet to get himself onto the board before this, but now is there to close it here. Solid stuff. And I really love the sort of layers of utility we saw there from Pacific. The sort of opening flash to get them that battle, the fallback, then the paranoia was sent in to catch him as he goes away, the salvos, the trap him as he tries to escape. Like, they were very reactive and very quick with all their util. But the attempted retake was also really nice from BBL, that ultimate combo that they were saving for such a long time. It's just VALORANT at the end, that double headshot that turns the round in their favor. And surprisingly, it's going to be an early timeout. I don't think there's been any major warning signs just yet for BBL, but they want to get ahead of it this time.
I said 7 was like the standout for me, and I think that's where he finished like 20 and 15, something like that. Like he was definitely putting in a lot of work, but I think VALORANT had some really high
His
peaks.
second half was insane.
Yeah, like he won them a lot of big rounds, bailed them out of bad situations as well. And here we see, I think that was a 3K, right? So
yeah.
Those were his only kills so far. He got on the board in spectacular fashion.
VALORANT in the post plant was by far their best player. Like, the second the spike was down, the problem is in these first 4 rounds, they didn't even get close to get the spike down. So he doesn't, like, that is the thing. You have, in my opinion, one of the best Sentinels from the tier 2 for a long, long time. So it's not surprising that once the spike's down, he's basically just doing a sight hold as he normally would. So the second he gets in those moments, I have full belief he's going to pop off. It's just when they're losing the early fights, as they were for the first 4 rounds, well, what's your Brimmy going to do?
Exactly. Got to get him in a position, set him up to succeed. For Pacific, rifles out, and a fight on mid being sought after. Lover's Rock is waiting here. Gate crash, not even halfway gone. He's got so much time to play with. The drone will be broken, he knows now. Blood in the water. The reposition up top, it's dangerous. CNED's good to find one, and he's pushed them all back out of middle. Refract and the gate crash taken. Great work by CNED.
Yeah, his first kill on the board, but with their climb back already beginning, it's not a bad position to be in. Obviously, the credits that were there for BBL, they're not really in any trouble even now. The operator in hand for Lover's Rock, and well, that's who they'd be walking into if they were to head towards this B site. The A site left a little bit more open, and it seems like there's going to be an attempt to try find the gap. Ninja walks up, but then Lover's Rock, because of that TP, actually goes moving the other way. They are just catching them with rotation. Even still, though, Loiter will survive for now. Now they head back in that direction. Loiter might just be able to catch him, though. Timing here is going to be absolutely everything. He's waiting for the fight, but now he looks to delay them. 25 seconds left as they want to try and run into this site. Loiter under serious pressure, but he dodged the knife. Can use the paranoia to slow them down, allow for a rotation. He's done excellent work, but it's not enough. 7 once again with a high impact triple. And Pacific, well, the calls were good, but it did nearly fall apart if it wasn't for that multi-frag.
Yeah, which again, he's been so reliable in. Pacific, they got these 2 players putting in the legwork in those big moments. Set up well by CNED to start out, as I said. Getting spot on mid, moving up top stairs and fragging from there. Sending all that mid control back into the hands of Pacific, and from there, They get the strike into that A site, but this would not have been an easy round. We're up for 7. 4-3 on the scoreboard. Specific climb back very early on. Despite 4 dominant rounds that we've seen from BBL, Specific, they've recovered early, and 7 again is able to pull them back in. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I thought LaRock has managed to escape that one, but I think he just placed his refract a little bit too far forward, and because of that, they were able to get him with the spam. This is a full rotation. Obviously, for BBL, this is a bit of a weak buy, so the gambles are going to be a lot heavier. The B site, all that's left is the utility of Kreven, and still a wide net being thrown out. That's the only thing with these sort of heavy fakes, that if BBL were to just stick to their guns, they might be able to hold on to this. But now the cam's been shot, this is the thing. It is just potentially another ruse. They don't know if their opponents are just committing directly into that site and then they're seeing utility thrown in on A, so they stick to where they're going. But it is just a fake. Eventually, the B site will be where they walk in. And I don't think they're going to know until the tripwire is
30
shot.
seconds
That'll
left.
be the moment that they figure out that they're on the wrong side.
Go ahead, stand your ground.
On the upside, dodging a lot of utility that will be coming your way.
This is where they go now.
Another rush over from BBL. And the Bucky, not going to be the most useful. Hunter's Fury available. Again, normally I would say they're not going to use it. I know how Rose likes to throw them in for retakes.
There's no flank this time, man.
You would think they need a pick, and that was almost it. 7 on 77 HP as he runs for the hills. Lover's Rock drops him. Hunter's Fury now in the back of your mind, and it's going to be popped here and now. VALORANT strikes just in time, though, and with Lover's Rock down, it's only Kreven to follow up on this furious Hunter's bow, but nothing to land for BBL. A very strong start to this map. Now sees them neck and neck with Pacific.
Yeah, like the calls that Pacific are going for, especially in low buy rounds, are definitely a bit risky. Like going into a site with 10, 15 seconds left. There could have been a stack there, but I like the way that they're playing with those rotations. Constantly, like, sort of breaking the cam, pausing for a long time, then you see the paranoia throw in, and that's where you kind of go, okay, if you're BBL, do you think that you're going into a fake? Do you think that you've gambled correctly? And Pacific are now on the other side of the map. It's smart stuff. Here goes those aggressive swings once again. Oh, I thought for a second he was going to lose his TP, and then he would have just fallen straight off the bat. But Lover's Rock escapes in time, and he's back in position once again.
Strike down A.
Very well handled, the cam in the chaos. Now a storm brewing on the side of Pacific as they've lost 2 players, but 7 has crept into the smoke. This could pull them back in. He could be the one to breathe life back into this round for Pacific again! 7 is unstoppable. The A site now under threat as the spike wraps up from middle. This is ludicrous! CNET's got the spike, and he's got a double! A mad round from Pacific, but it's worked out wonderfully with Kreven in a 1v3, and he's been spotted too.
That's unfortunate. All the sneakiness of this round has dissipated, and he's definitely been the man to have a rough time so far in this game. Looking for Ninja, might just get that one, but while 4 HP and 2 to find, the rest are already scurrying away back to the site. They don't need to fight this, they don't need to risk it. Maybe if they knew how low he was, they would. It's CNET to close things out. And honestly, if that, I don't think that was the plan from the get-go. If your plan was for the spike to lurk through mid, then Cupid, we need to have words. I think then you've lost the plot. But the fact that in the moment they were able to just create magic.
You see me! Yo, you see me! KO lurking!
KO lurking inside the smoke on that A site. On a pedestal, and for good reason. He's shooting down on them. 5 on the board. He's now
joined Lover's Rock and LaRock.
Yeah.
Like, from the start of the game, where it was like 8-0, 7-2, something like that, this has been a massive turnaround.
5 in a row. Now, I'll tell you what, he is definitely stunned by that one. Nowhere to go for Kreven. And this is a round where there's already weaknesses for BBL, but those 2 rifles still surviving. LaRock primed and ready to pounce this. Oh no! The reveal! He had the shots, they landed for so much damage, but no kill. The same story with Cupid, who ends up with 2, And Lover's Rock! He's all alone now. The man looking for a flank a little bit earlier on. He's TP'd over. He's with his buddy. Well, he's with his buddy's corpses.
Spike
And he's going to try to...
He'll be with them soon.
He will. He'll be sent straight to them. Look, damage done on Cupid and VALORANT, but the first challenge is from CNED, locking in an in-zone flawless. Pacific, we're 4-0 down. They are now 6-4 in the lead. Remarkable.
Yeah, it seems like everything they're doing is paying off. The risks, the fakes, the individual plays.
Oh,
sure.
Okay. I've been teased, I see.
Yeah, sure, 7 has been the mantle behind it, but everybody's had their moments thus far. And for BBL, I think as many, they will have come into this game expecting to dominate. Definitely confident, but it's now starting to fall apart. Now a 6-6 scoreline wouldn't be bad for them whatsoever, other than the method in which they got there. However, the way that Pacific have been winning these rounds, and well, you could see the reactions. I'm sure there was another there, 7. That's another open of him. He has been insane.
That was really nicely done as well, using both salvos in that early contact towards A main, knowing that that's a spot that BBL are looking to fight for, and knowing that LaRock's fallback will be just around the corner, that you can salvo as well. It's caused a lot of problems, forced him out in the open, gave a pick away now to Pacific. Also means the BBL don't have the convergence path to work with, which is going to be very useful in a retake. For Pacific, their chance now to extend that lead 7-4 as they move through mid, but they're going straight into Rose and Loida.
Dash in.
Standing ahead.
Rose will kick things off. A lot of pressure from utility. The span's got to be careful. There's another player around the corner. Kreven with one, Loiter another. 7 trying his best to trade him a wall forward. The push through the smoke. Well, it now leaves just one standing.
30 seconds
VALORANT caught. And even a wrap around behind him. Not really anywhere left for him to go other than to try and fight them for the spike. It's not like the economy is in any way, shape or form a worry for Pacific in the next round, so he's got to try and go for this, but at this point the clock's already gone.
10 seconds
I guess
left.
he was maybe expecting someone to try and rotate, but it really doesn't matter anymore. It's all about damage. Is he going to take anything away? To be honest, I'm waiting to see if he ever goes for a fight. Taking the spike at this point is a little bit pointless.
Well, he'll get nothing
Last
for his
round
trouble, but
in
the
the
orb
half.
for the death. And the final round of the half about to play out. There you see the salvo sent through. 7 after jump peeking the first corner to send that player back. Now comes swinging in to push him out of the corner he retreated to. CNED clearly frustrated with how some of that played out. For Pacific, a pause the Technica before we jump into round number 12. And for Pacific, like I say, I feel like they've had really good rounds, but it's hard to think about this half without all your thoughts being overtaken by a man like 7. Again, he was great in the previous map, but there's been so many that moment inside the smoke is lurking KO on the A site. That was magical, man. And the thing is, the second I see him in the smoke, with the game he's been having today, you just know he's gonna make something out of this.
Hey, you know what it is? It's probably he played in the Americas Ascension. I'm not sure that you watch the other regions Ascension. He probably doesn't know who he's up against. Just like, you know, just another day at the office. Who are these guys? Oh, they played on our org last year. Well, I'm here now. I'm the one in tier 1 with them. I don't give a damn. And you can see, like, the way that he's reacting. He's the sort of player you want on a team. Not even because of the individual things he's doing, but because of the screaming, the shouting, the hyping everybody up. Because that's the sort of thing that you look over at this squad, and sure, Cupid's been doing it as well, but Cupid might not get the most individual highlights of the players that he currently has in his team, similar to Rose. And I think that, like, CNED's always been quite passive in the way he is until he's elbowing a table. So I think that having someone like him, who is going to be that sort of like that vibes guy, the guy who's making everybody laugh while making some of the best plays, it genuinely is worth its weight in gold. And that's the thing. I do want to give credit to the sort of the TSM of last year. You look at those players being picked up into the likes of 100 Thieves and MBS and the work he did. Clearly that was a squad that built an incredibly good roster, and they've mostly all been picked up for the tier 1 this year. So I think as an import goes, it's so far so good. He's looked fantastic.
I don't know if I read that correctly, but was there taunting on one side of the stage? Did I see 7 fingers being held up and then gesture across them. I think they might have been talking to 7. Little sign language across the stage. We'll find out maybe a little later on. But yeah, a little technical break. It wouldn't be EMEA without them, would it? And I think for BBL, a chance to equalize on this. They've been slow, much slower than I expected after those first 4 rounds. It really is strange. I think we had a change up on Breeze first to second half, but with the composition in play, with the changes to the map, I think that is a map that just will have more entropy than what we'll expect elsewhere, a little bit more chaos. But when it comes to a map like this, I expect it to be a little bit more back to normal. And if in the first 4 rounds, a team's got like 2 deaths, they've been running it down, it doesn't matter what part of the map, they're just shredding you in every single fight, you're being embarrassed. I don't expect you to suddenly bounce back and look stellar on that stage. I think it is a large part due to like VALORANT and 7 having a couple of rounds that have really put the wind back in their sails. But for Pacific, then they have some like, when CNED comes up behind on mid with the spike, there's just some moments like that where I'm like, what? The risks you're taking are insane. But of course, because of that, your opponents don't expect you to do that. So
it was this like, we saw them attempting stuff like in the last map where he's running through a snake bite in a 3v5. But that's the thing. It feels like the good thing for Pacific players, and again, you can make comparisons to the BBL, the tier 1 BBL of last year, where expectations of this squad are low. Like it's not like they've come in and spent the most money, or they've come in and they've got that team that won Ascension. They don't have either of those things. They've had to build everything from scratch while being the Ascension team. That's a very difficult thing to do. So most people look at this squad and go, okay, they're going to be at the bottom. And even if you're not putting them as like, okay, I think they're going to make Masters, or they're going to. So you come into this game versus a squad where all of the players, maybe other than CNED, was taking L's to the Pacific team of last year, all the way through the year, and probably the year before that as well. Like, anytime you played them, you got wrecked. So you're going in against a team maybe you didn't expect to beat, and you're going into a game where everybody expects you to lose. So you can just have fun. You can take risks. You can play comps that are a little bit weird, and your opponent has to try and deal with that. And I think they're doing all of that excellently.
Well, that's a hell of a reveal, but not much to come off the back of it. Lovers Rock going deep, and he keeps on going. Another down for Lovers Rock. They're trying to push him out of position, but LaRock comes in to help CNED from the window. Finally puts an end to that madness. And the advantage back in the hands of Pacific with Kreven again on his own. A 1 versus 2 this time, a much more manageable issue. But the complete lack of information goes both ways. They don't know where he's coming from, and he doesn't know where they're going.
The thing is, they can have an educated guess. They're so deep already, and seeing nothing this far, and even if he was fully within the A site, by now they would have spotted something towards mid, something towards the spawn, and that's why they're wrapping around heaven. Because there's only really one place now that he can have been coming from, on that flank. And he's always been on the wrong side of the map at the wrong place and the wrong time, unfortunately for Kreven, and it seems like that's the case once again. They were a little bit low, a little bit tagged. It seemed like there was some hope, but they eventually figured out where he was. I'm on 7. He's going to have to up the number in his name. 16 kills in the first half. Very impressive.
Yeah, matching up pound for pound with what Rose was able to do in the previous. There's been a different hero every map, more or less every half. And perhaps it'll be the same as we go into half number 2 of Abyss Pacific on a win streak. Let's see how far they can take it.
Hey!
Hey, Tom.
Alberto was looking for you, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, you better get that quick.
Okay, I'll go check.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Tom Biz. You've had your fun. It's my turn.
Welcome back, folks. 7-5 at the halftime. After a blowout first 4 rounds for BBL, Pacific have not only caught up, but they've taken the lead coming into half number 2. It's their map pick, and now it's time to see them on the defense. 7, the man that drew a lot of our eyes, but you got to look at CNET. We expect so much from this guy. And looking back, well, at most played agents, it just looks wrong, doesn't it, Tom?
Yeah, this was last year where there was a role that needed to be filled on foot, and although he's always been known for that duelist, he filled in pretty well. Like, those stats were not bad for someone playing the Omen fit. It didn't feel like it was the right fit for him or for the team. Now, coming into this roster, back to the primary duelist, back to what made him famous, back to what made him one of the most, well, prolific players in all of Valorant back in 2021. We are now looking at that CNED. Well, hoping that he'll come back to that once again. In the first half, he was decent, but he wasn't the man that was taking over.
Well, site control already taken. Lover's Rock is in there, and it looks like Pacific will back out, conceding that control, but the flank coming through could be massive, but they're waiting all the while for CNED to go walkabouts. Huge play from BBL. They faked that B site beautifully. Pacific now are scrambling. They don't know where it's coming in.
We call that spot Boaster, right? Back on those stairs all the way in the spawn. I think he's played that one a few times. Yeah. His little lurk spot, but yeah, that's worked out wonderfully. Making a gap. A site very open, but they are pushing back towards B once again. It's the pump fake, going back into the same position once more, and it's something the Pacific have read pretty well. They've spotted out exactly where one of them is, but they haven't managed to deal with 7 again, looking to take over. The trades back from VALORANT, even better, from a deficit to an advantage in a matter of seconds. Look where the spike is. It now needs to be retrieved.
30 seconds left.
Cubert's wrapped around the window as well. Their eye's going to be drawn by him as VALORANT comes back in for more. Low HP on the rock and the body shot enough to close it out. Nicely done. Great distraction from Cupert, but phenomenal shots from VALORANT across the board.
God, as I said, like, I think this defensive side is normally where you expect to see that Brimmy really have the impact, like much more into his almost classic Sentinel role. You got utility to try and delay them, and then just that pure raw aim that we've seen from VALORANT for a long, long time in the Tier 2. There was a reason he was on Focus and Mouse and even Heretics back in the day. Very different looking Heretics roster to the one you see now, but he has been around the block, that's for sure. And for a quote-unquote Tier 2 player, that he's always been talked about in the sense of being here.
Yeah. And when it comes to, said he's been around the block, when it comes to buzz around his name, you know, he used to have a little, now he's got a lot. See how much he can really do at this level over the next few months. An easy round presented to Pacific, and they make it look easy. An in-zone flawless found up against the Pistols, as it should be. Everything going to plan. And for Pacific, with a 4-round lead now, after last map, after the start to this one, they've got to be feeling like this game is already theirs.
Well, yeah, winning 9 of the last 10 rounds, it really does paint a bleak picture for the side of BBL. Already. They walked out with their opponent's trophies. They're now looking to try and walk out what many thought was the opponent's win. An escape plan of sorts for Cupid, even though he was slowed. This bonus round definitely has some legs to it. A few rifles in the mix along with the SMG. Maybe not the man I'd put the SMG on, but I do wonder if maybe there's a sheriff or something for 7 to back it up, because he's been so clean with it. But you also just have to talk about, will BBL now be feeling the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we saw them on the previous map slow down, but then lock in towards the end. Once the pressure really started to mount up. Whether that's the case here or not really comes down to this round. Pacific will have so much runway to work with if they take this across the line. It's already started out with a tag onto Rose. He's down to 77. It's the B site overrun. The A site falls. Cupert's being dropped by what could be a lurk from Pacific's perspective, they have no idea if that's the case, but they're making the right gamble, moving towards this B site. Oh, the refract! It drew Laroc's attention away. VALORANT is able to drop the second man, not expected. But the same can be said on the side of BBL, as they're able to get the plant in now in a 4v3.
Managed to get ahead of a few things, but it's the player in the window that could be a problem. Cena, he's not quite able to bypass Lover's Rock. A nice shot, though, from Ninja. He wanted to take the long-range battle with the pistol instead of the sniper. An interesting choice, but it has worked out. This is where this thing kind of...
sorry? Slaps?
Slaps, yeah. No, I wasn't going to say sucks. I don't know how that's worked, but hey, he'll take it all day long. This is starting to get a little bit dangerous. It is only 7 remaining, but only 7 has been enough for quite a few rounds. Even just as a bonus, a chance to make this costly. A rifle retrieved, but he's just looking for the exits now. Looking to try and do some real damage, and damage he will do. It's a round for BBL, but a very, very costly one.
Yeah, look, when the guy is 20 and 9 on the other side, pops off like that, punishes you, makes you lose every weapon you came into the round with, where you're talking about how many you can carry through. I think it's a round win, but it doesn't necessarily feel like one. No. As now the pressure is on.
Of course you are gonna make them die, bro. Of course you are gonna let them.
CNED's hyping him up. 7's looking good, and now a chance for Pacific. If they win this,
CNED pumped up. That's when you know you're doing well.
The thing is, winning this now means that BBL will have no money. So this is almost a worst-case scenario for BBL if they can't connect the 2 victories in a row.
Honestly, a lot of teams wouldn't buy here. They would go for pistols. They would go for something like risky or aggressive in terms of like maybe you dive in with SMG, because this really is a damning position to try and come back from it. It'll be a full reset of your economy.
You'll have one more buy round.
Tony's down.
So this really is an all or nothing feeling, and it kind of does feel like what this game has been like. BBL trying to break out of the cycle, which is the Pacific win streak.
And they are close to some things that could help out. I think especially for Rose, an orb, a plant, a pick will give him that Hunter's Fury, which has already swayed a lot of rounds in retakes. Beautiful opening with CNED down. Man advantage now for BBL. The few bits of weaknesses here or there stop mattering as much. And if they can group, take control, and get that Hunter's Fury post plant, this round might already be over. Pacific, they've gambled. They've gotten up close, and VALORANT's been spotted. Huge wide swing. This should be done. And with Laroc's triple, I think that should cement it.
Yeah, we're kind of back to where we were at the beginning of the map. Laroc just finding a triple kill. It's almost feeling a little bit more like the Foot was in their game versus Mates, though. You're very, very reliant on those individuals popping off, and if not, well, it does just feel like the game falls apart. But that's the lifeline. That's exactly what BBL needed. A huge individual round from Laroc, the guy that has been promised for the Tier 1 for a couple of years now, showing exactly why. But it's not too damning for Pacific. I do think like an unfortunate position, especially when you have that outlaw in play in middle. Kind of expected a little bit more from Cena, but sometimes someone runs at you and domes you. There's not too much you can do about that. And then I think unfortunate timing. The players pushing on main, a little bit whiffy from VALORANT, which is not something I've said throughout this game so far.
Yeah, I'll give you this though, you know, from his perspective, hiding in that corner, he doesn't think he's been seen, and then Loida wide swings him by about 3 kilometers. I think that's an understandable surprise element for him to have to face off against. And indeed, now here's Lover's Rock, 19 years old, and a Michael Jordan fan. You can talk to him about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely. Oh, you can. You know,
can ask him about Scotty.
Go on.
Pimpin'?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Moving swiftly on. Yeah, that is not his name. Definitely not his name. Anyway, yeah, he's someone that, again, I've said it earlier in the series, but I think Lover's Rock is almost criminally underrated because of the comparisons we've had to him. Like, he was the guy who had to come in and replace Comeback, and from speaking to Rose, the differences between the players is, okay, if you were to put someone in a 1 versus 1 aim fight, you probably won't Comeback in there, but if you want someone as a teammate, that's where you want Lover's Rock. Like, he is someone who is very vocal, always going to be trying to like input into the team, and also they're happy to just almost not be the star, like as a duelist. Like, he'll get the kill, get out. He's not the guy who wants to stick around and try and fight everybody, which is definitely what Comeback will do, but succeed. That's why he does it. but he's a very different Turkish duelist. So it's someone I'm very excited to have in the league going into this year. And well, if they end up playing against Heretics, I'm sure sparks will fly in that one.
A 2-round gap. BBL, 2 in a row. A big performance.
I need a drop.
It could have been a very shaky start to this second half, and it very well could have been Pearl set up already, but instead, here we are, round 17, attack side for BBL. Couple weaknesses, but Lover's Rock coming in with an Outlaw, the Hunter's Fury, and a Convergence path online for the attack side. This is either, I mean, the thing is, you can use either of those to get into a site or in a post plant. A lot of opportunity for Pacific. They've at least got their orbital strike. Finding I feel like it'll be more situational on that defensive side to find a high value place to use it.
Yeah, the thing that worries me a little bit is obviously Pacific's comp revolves around, you get a lot of information. You have the drone, you have the knife, you have the constant ability to re-aggress. What? Oh, I thought for a second he was going to catch a timing. But the double dive can sometimes negate all of that because you can just all in at any moment, and that's exactly what this is here. 3 players in the right place at the right time for Pacific. The trades already coming back, but that's okay. Pacific already have the man advantage, just not on the site. They need to wait for the cavalry to arrive. Cena trying to play defensively. Ninja to bit with the incredible take down both. Now that advantage goes back the other way. 7 desperately trying to get in there quickly. Don't allow them to have those post-plant positions, and he's being revealed, but he doesn't care. Still just W-keying it towards the site.
Nowhere to run.
Oh, Hunter's Fury got outside the range of the knife. Orbital Strike will be sent through to try to punish, but no players pulled out by that. Big bit of aggression from Loida. He's on the site. That's huge. Denying the defuse. And Valorant being found in the open. But the clock here could be his biggest enemy, with Rose dropped so quickly, though. It looks like that won't be a problem.
No.
Not playing the clock, not winning the fight. And BBL now trailing by 3 as a result.
Red Bull clutch coming out for Valorant. He's someone that, again, in those late round scenarios has been good. I do wonder maybe if that was a miscom, because Rose just walked straight out into the open. I can only assume that he thought the guy was already on site, and because of his position, he would have had to run all the way around. So he was thinking, okay, I need to cross here. But that... Yeah. I have a feeling something might have been miscom there, because just how angry both of them were. It definitely seemed like that, because the way he walked out at the end was weird, from our point of view.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the frustration from Rose. Hunter's Fury was put in the last round, so now we're back to just the convergence path. But a hell of an ultimate it can be.
Oh,
the Rock sends it through, pushes them off the site. Deep control taken with the TP. Now Lover's Rock ready to battle up close. He's gone inside the smoke. The flash could come out at any moment, but he backs off. Moving instead to the site. Post plant will be from main. They're ready for Pacific to come knocking on that door any moment. With the null command already in, here it comes. Great flash! The Rock's still able to get one though, making this costly in the way through.
He's back.
7's right back into the game as well. A 5 versus 4 as Loida surrounded now, but he's got a teammate with him. Lover's Rock holds on, gets that gate crash out of there right as Cupid arrives, and the time continues to tick. The defenders needing to get on that, and now inside the smoke, it's underway. Rose needs to land a miracle shot through the smoke, and he's too late to the party.
Yeah, I really love the Flood back in on that retake. They were so quick with everything. Like, forced out of the site in the early take. That was what BBL wanted. They wanted a post plant. They wanted a post plant with space. But the second you see that rush back through before they can get into positions, it just becomes impossible for them to find anything. The hold not good enough. But it was mainly just the disruptive nature of that retake. And you can see Key looked very frustrated after the last round. I think this pause might have been queued up already.
I think it's pretty safe to say at this stage. I gotta say, man, huge props to Ulysses and his foresight. He talked a big game about 7, a big enough game that I was like, I think we're overhyping it, right? Like, you don't want to set the expectations too high.
He's never said that someone, maybe even a team, would be really good and then they were awful all season for, what, 3 years in a row?
Yeah. We won't say who.
No.
But, Uli, you know who they are.
You can make an educated guess.
Yes. So things did not go swimmingly.
No.
They were a little fish in a big pond, so to speak. But for Pacific, having a guy like Seven in here seems invaluable. So many big rounds. He's not afraid to play risky, to get inside that smoke, to lurk as a KO. He's got the energy. Last round, standing up immediately, jump to his feet. He's getting in their face, and he's bringing up the rest of the team as well. Look, it's no surprise with a guy like him that CNED's also getting hyped up. We usually see him as a cool, calm, collected guy. I remember the old meme. It was like CNED when he dies, CNED when he opens the round, CNED when he clutches. Just the same picture.
Well, the good thing as well is he's doing that. Like, CNED is hyped up while not performing, which was never really the case.
No,
like,
never.
If he was having a good game, yeah, maybe he cracks a smile. But when he's having a bad game, you would know about it. But in this case, it doesn't seem like he cares. The team's winning is good for CNED. And well, they are winning. 2 rounds away from taking their map choice and moving us on to Pearl.
A big accolade early on. Deep aggression from Pacific as well. That's caught Kreven off guard. Again, like I say, not afraid to play a little crazy sometimes, but they've lost CNED towards that A site. Lovers Rock with a big pick and a gate crash to get right back to his team. It drags some players off of B, which has left Cupid isolated for a moment. Luckily, Seven's here in time to save the day. The man's getting more and more every time. A 3K here to put Pacific onto 12. Look at him. He's losing his mind down there, and I'm not surprised. He looks like he's smurfing on the Tier 1 stage.
Yeah, 27 and 10. The team that, finished second
on B
over in America's Ascension. Well, one of the players from there is currently... he's currently farming the team that won EMEA Ascension. 27 and 10.
We've created a new rule, haven't we? Like, we always have this, when it's a clutch, always observe the one player. When Seven's about to take a fight, always observe him, because he's insane.
Yeah.
This is his easiest job of your life. Let's go. Nice.
He's gonna survive just about. He took a dink in the process. Trying to put the pressure on. That was almost a panic ult just to try and keep himself alive. Lovers Rock has been able to do that. 5 in a row needed, and from anything I've seen in this second half, I don't believe. There's nothing that has made me think that BBL are going to be able to turn this around other than individual brilliance. That's about it.
Well, they used to say belief is everything, right? I don't know if it carries over, but...
I don't think so. I don't think that's this team.
Well, maybe it will be. They can make this 5 rounds in a row right back. A belief in this would be something else entirely for Pacific.
But they've already got all the info.
Just got to tee it in, and rotations seem to already be underway. Even putting the drone through on mid, just to be sure. It's not a late play mid through A. Now they can rotate a little bit quicker, and their BBL are taking so long to hit B.
Yeah. Valorant waiting.
30 seconds left.
Nice shot from Cupid as well. This puts Valorant under pressure, but he still found one for his troubles. A decent trade from Rose. There's CNED as well. Just up from above, and the ultimate being put through to give him that additional space, taking the site back before they could even get the plant down, and there's no way out of this one. 13-7, a bounce back from Pacific, and already after a map where we kind of thought they were going to get banged out in the beginning, they have proven that they might just be here to stay.